Hello, we are now talking about listening experience number 2, The Music Man. This was a fantastic story that came out in 1958 on Broadway, featuring a traveling salesman named Harold Hill. Harold Hill was a bit of a con man. He travels around, mostly around the Midwest, and tries to sell people in their town on the idea of a boys' band because it keeps them, off the streets and busy. This particular town he goes to is in River City, Iowa. So if you've ever heard the term, you got trouble right here in River City, this comes from The Music Man. And one of the first songs in it is about how people in Iowa are very stubborn and set in their ways. There's a great scene towards the end where he talks about how great the band is going to be. Actually, he sings it a few times, but he talks about leading off with 76 trombones. And that's the greatest band in the land, and it's all in his head. His main love interest in the movie is the librarian in town, whose name is Marion. So we have a great song called Marion the Librarian. It's very fun. When he shows up in River City, he has to convince the people that they need a boys' band. And there's a pool hall in town that's new, and they're bringing in these pool tables. So what they really have is trouble. They got trouble right here in River City. And that's how he convinces everybody, and it's very, very fun. The Music Man, in 1958, won the very first Grammy Award for Best Original Cast Album. That's when the recordings Grammy Awards started, is in 58. So we'll learn a little bit more about that later, but it holds the distinction of being the very first one. As part of the storyline, there is a group of 4 of the town elders. They're like the founding fathers of the town, and they're in the school board. There's 4 of them, and he convinces them to help his cause, you could say, by tricking them into becoming a barbershop quartet. It's very funny in the film how he does this. But when they made a movie out of this, they used the 4 gentlemen that originally played this barbershop quartet on Broadway, and they were a well-known and recorded barbershop quartet called the Buffalo Bills. So they made their name for themselves outside of The Music Man, but this skyrocketed them to fame by putting them on the silver screen and on Broadway. The composer, Meredith Willson, he's sort of a one-hit wonder as a composer, but he also played flute and piccolo in John Philip Sousa's band for a couple of years in the early 1920s. So he's got chops as a player. He was also presented the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor a civilian can get in our country. And it was presented to him posthumously, so after he passed away. But still, he's one of the very few Americans who's earned that honor. Let's see, what else do we know about him? Oh yeah, he wrote another tune that people might have heard of. He's known as the composer of the holiday tune "It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas." So if you want to look that up and listen to it, you can. On the slideshow over here, if you click, you get to this lovely little recording, and we'll see if they give us, yeah, we get an ad for pizzas. That's fun. But it ended up costing me nothing. Here we go. So this is in the film the film version, that's the mayor's daughter, Zanita. And that's Tommy, who's the local troublemaker. And so all these kids are turning into the fancy marching band that Harold Hill sees in his head. Now she's the drum majorette, and here they come. So typically when there's a local production of this, they get junior high kids or the local high school band to come and do this part, which is the last scene in the film. So I'm not going to show you the whole thing here because you can click on it and get better screen quality, but that's a little bit about, I think, my very favorite recording of 76 Trombones. So hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you later.